My dear viewers, hello and welcome to a new episode of our program Cairo Local Time, during which we bring you the latest political, economic, social, also sports and cultural events that are taking place in Egypt. With you today, Amal Mukhtar. I have the pleasure to be with you until 5 p.m. This is a short break and I'm going to be back with you. My dear viewers, hello and welcome to this new episode of Cairo Local Time. We started with our local news. President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi receives Dr. Julius Maka, the President of the Republic of Sierra Leone, at Al Ittihadiyya Palace on Thursday. The meeting aims to discuss ways of strengthening bilateral relations and consultations on regional and continental developments. Well, Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli greeted President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi marking Eid al-Fitr. The Prime Minister, on behalf of himself and the Cabinet, have offered wishes best wishes to the President. Minister of Interior, Major General Mahmoud Tawfiq, also sent a greeting cable to the President marking the Lesser Bribe Amma, wishing it to be a feast of peace for all Egyptians. Pope Taras II, Pope of Alexandria and Patriarch of St. Mark Cathedral, also sent President Sisi a greeting cable marking Eid al-Fitr. Speaker of the House of Representatives, Hanafi Gibali, also sent a greeting cable to the President marking the same occasion. President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi on Wednesday have attended the celebration that was organized by the Minister of Endowment in the occasion of Laylat al-Qadr, or the night of revelation. The celebration, which was organized by the Ministry of the Endowment, took place at the Arts and the Culture City in the new administrative capital. We have more in the following report.
President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi witnessed a celebration marking Laylat al-Qadr, or the Night of Decree, on Wednesday. The celebration, which was organized by the Ministry of Religious Endowments, took place at the Arts and Culture City in the new administrative capital. Addressing the event, President al-Sisi extended his greetings and respect to Egyptians on the holy occasion, amid difficult circumstances facing the country and the whole Middle East region. The President expressed his appreciation to the Grand Imam of Al-Azhar, Dr. Ahmed al-Tayyib, the Ministry of Religious Endowments, sheikhs and scholars for the relentless efforts to fix Islam's real tolerance and concepts. He called for preserving the Muslim identity and enhancing human values, which he reiterated that reaching such target necessitated collaborative efforts by all, building awareness institutions such as families, schools, mosques and churches. President al-Sisi noted that the nation needs a religious, educational and media speech, which should be aware with good values and works on strengthening the society to be able to face bad behaviors with wisdom. Meanwhile, Minister of Religious Endowments, Osama al-Azhari, addressed the attendees, before which he presented the head of state with a copy of the Holy Quran. During the celebration, as well as Quran reciters from people of special needs, Laylat al-Qadr holds a great significance for Muslims, being the most blessed night in the sight of the Creator. This night falls within the last 10 days of Ramadan, during which Muslims intensify their acts of worship, hoping for acceptance from Almighty Allah before the end of the holy month.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Yesterday, Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli held a weekly press conference after the weekly cabinet meeting, during which he spoke of the several files, among them the economic file. We're going to know more in the following report.
Egypt's revenues amount to 3.1 trillion Egyptian pounds, reflecting an annual growth rate of 19%, while expenditures are expected to reach 4.6 trillion Egyptian pounds, an 18% increase. According to the Prime Minister, Mustafa Madbouli made his remarks during a press conference following the government's weekly meeting on Wednesday in the new administrative capital. He said that during the meeting, the cabinet approved the draft budget for the upcoming fiscal year 2025-2026, which takes effect on the 1st of July, and decided to refer it to the House of Representatives. The budget aims to achieve an initial surplus of 795 billion Egyptian pounds, equivalent to 4% of the GDP, and to reduce the public sector debt to 82.9%. The Premier emphasized that the government is working on implementing the presidential directives to increase spending on health, education and social protection, and also to support the productive and expert sectors. He also pointed out that the constitutional entitlement for spending on education, health and scientific research has been met, with 679.1 billion Egyptian pounds allocated for public sector wages, reflecting an 18.1% annual growth rate to accommodate the new increase scheduled for July. Madbouli illustrated that the state has allocated 15.1 billion Egyptian pounds for treatment at its expense for citizens without insurance coverage, and 5.9 billion Egyptian pounds for health insurance for students, working women and children, as well as comprehensive health insurance. He also highlighted that 732.6 billion Egyptian pounds will be allocated towards social support, grants and welfare programs, representing a 15.2% increase aimed at relieving the burden on citizens with a focus on priority care groups.
Well, to shed more light on this, we have the pleasure to have with us over the phone our dear guest, Dr. Said Khouly, Professor of Economics. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Well, Dr. Khouly, Prime Minister Dr. Mustafa Madbouli said that Egypt's revenues amount to 3.1 trillion Egyptian pounds, reflecting an annual growth rate of 19%, while expenditures are expected to reach 4.6 trillion, an 18% increase. How did you read this?
Absolutely. That's absolutely a good news for Egyptian economy, where the prediction, if and only if the external environment stay as is right now, and that is a good prediction, and that give us a good news for the future. Of course, when Dr. Madbouli, the Prime Minister, Dr. Mustafa Madbouli, really bring us today with this good news, where the growth rate now is 4.3, which is increased by about 1% from last year, and the unemployment rate went down to 6.1 instead of double digit. Now it's one digit. That is a good news, and we see a lot of integration between private sector and public sector put hand to hand in order to establish new business. That's the good news. And another good news, the foreign direct investment increased by about 20% during this fiscal year. That is a good news. And we see a lot of mineral industry. We started to invest heavily, whether it's Egyptian investment or with the foreign direct investment.
Yes.
In chemical and in mineral industry. That is a good news.
Yes.
I believe if we stay in the same track, Egypt will be in different place next year.
Yes, also the Premier, Dr. Khouly, have said that within 5 years, the coming 5 years, there would be an increase in exports. So give us an idea about this, or could you please explain to us more?
If you recall, President Sisi 3 years ago, when he said, when we produce with high level of quality. So it's not just produce a product or service, but produce it with high level quality in order to meet the international standard, in order to enable us to be able to export our product or service abroad. I believe Egyptian product now compete, especially in agriculture, product fruits and the citrus fruit considered to be #1 in the whole world now. And potato also take a good rating among all different countries.
Yes.
Of course, if we stay on the track where we produce a high quality product and be able to market our product and service overseas, this will enable us to really increase the trade balance between importing and exporting. It will be in favor for Egyptian economy.
Yes. Also, Dr. Khouly, the track which the state is taking concerning supporting the local industries.
Of course, we used to have only public sector in industrial sector, but
yes.
right now we have a huge investment from private industry. And the last year and so, the government started to put hand in hand with private sector. So we have now joint project and joint industry between public and private sector. Of course, that is the trend for all the rest of the whole world. It's not only governmental sector who are going to manufacture, but private sector. And of course, it will enable us to be able to produce high quality products, enable us to look for how to market our products overseas. Also, a lot of foreign direct investment came to Egypt, and now we have joint venture between public sector, private sector, and foreign direct investment. And of course, this is the trend for the whole economical system in the whole world.
Yes.
Not only public sector, but private and foreign direct investment and public sector.
Yes. Doctor, you've mentioned the public sector. Actually, in several events, President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi has stressed the importance of the big role played by the private sector, and also the policy of the state in the past years in order to give share for the private sector to take this role. So also, would you speak to us about this, please?
Of course, there is a mega project which the government responsible for mega project. So when we talk about electricity, when we talk about water supply and so on, when we talk about army, police, that is public sector. But private sector can really join the public sector in many industries, for agriculture, for industry as a whole, for example. And that is the role of private business, is to be integrated with the. So our economy, it used to be 10 or 20 years ago, where public sector produced all different products, all different services, and so on. Right now, the role of the public sector when it comes to industry, it became very, very minimal. And even the public factory or the public industry start to be shared with private business. And when you have this cooperation, when you have this strategic alliance, it will enable us to be able to produce high quality product, good marketing strategy, enable us to be able to export our product or service. And it's a win-win strategy for the public sector and for the private sector. Add to that foreign direct investment. because in industry, in agriculture, we need technology. If we don't have it, we can have joint venture with foreign investors to come and join us with the technology and so on. So
Yes.
it's win-win strategy
Yes,
for the government, for the private sector, for the international investors.
Yes, Dr. Khouly, encouraging the local investment and also foreign investment, what would be the impact of this on the Egyptian economy? Whether, let's start first with the importance of the local investment and the foreign investment after this.
Of course, when we talk about the growth rate, it doesn't come from one side only. It comes from all different sides. Remember, the government, the Egyptian government, gave a lot of incentive to attract foreign direct investment. It gave a lot of incentive in order to encourage the private sector to join the government. Of course, when you have this kind of integration, when you have this kind of strategic alliance, we can benefit from different tracks. First of all, the unemployment rate will go down. We'll be able to limit importing product or service from abroad. We can produce it at home. And also, when we do all of that, all this saving, it affects our gross rate. And of course, we don't depend on foreign currency. And by exporting, we can increase the hard currency in our central bank. Of course, all of this it's good news for the future. It reduces unemployment, increase the export, and we'll be able to be in a different place.
Yes, Dr. Khouly, also during the press conference by Prime Minister Madbouli, the Premier also spoke about the decrease in the rate of the unemployment. How did you see this also?
Of course, one of the indicators for how country develop or how country expand is the unemployment rate. When unemployment rate is low, it means we are going the right track. When unemployment rate is high, it means we are going to recession. And most of the world right now, with what's going on with the foreign policy, it really the turbulence in the whole world, with European countries, with Asian countries, and with the increase of tariffs from different countries to other countries, that is it makes the international arena unstable. And if we talk about the unemployment rate, we have the lowest wages here in Egypt, and we can benefit from that. And also we'll be able to decrease in unemployment rate. It means social life. It means a lot of quality of life for Egyptian worker and workforce.
Yes, Dr. Khouly, concerning the GDP, Egypt's now economy rebounds to 4.3% in the current fiscal year. What's your comment?
Of course, it was like 3.5 in 2024. Now it's 4.3 right now.
Yes.
And my expectation, if we really, the external environment, the turbulence is external environment, with the all different things going around us, we still Egypt in the positive side in growth rate. And that is a good news. If you recall, during the corona, the most of the country around us was the negative side. Egypt was in the positive side. With the Russian-Ukrainian war, it was negative side. Egypt was in the positive side. And remember, the solidarity of Egyptian people behind their government, that is the main factor for stability of our economical system and for the growth of our economical system, despite whatever is going against us from inside and from outside. Remember, the solidarity and the Egyptian people, the Egyptian public is behind their government. They are behind their leadership, and we can face any challenge from any other people.
Yes.
So we should really focus on that solidarity and the spirit of Egyptian people. We have value, and we are not going to compromise our core value for economic or for anything. Egyptian people, they are standing, and we should really focus on that. We should really encourage that. We have value. We have thousands of years of value, and Egypt, regardless what's going on, we are behind our leadership, and we are behind our government in order to advance. So when we should really go home alive, and we can move forward, and we can increase our growth rate. If it's 4.3, it will become 5, 6, and 7 as before.
Yes, Dr. Khouly, actually, also the Premier said that the International Monetary Fund have praised Egypt's going concerning the economic reforms as Egypt is going on the right track. Give us an idea about this.
Of course, the last release from the World Bank and so on,
yes,
we got 1.6 billion. And remember, we have our policy, we have our strategy, and we really encourage the private sector to join the public sector and so on. So we did all the required items from the World Bank, and
yes,
we get that, and we assume in the future we'll get more and more. And remember, Egypt has the resources, and they have the ingredients in order to depend on ourselves. And that is the main idea. We should really look for our local investors. We should really encourage the foreign direct investment, and Egypt will be in different place. And we should really manage ourselves in efficient way for our natural resources. And when we have that, the dependence on the World Bank, National Monetary Fund, it will be very limited. I believe Egypt has the resources, Egypt has the talent in order to overcome any challenge we face right now.
Yes, I thank you very much for your time. Thank you for your valuable information, Dr. Saeed Al-Khouly, Professor of Economics. I really had the pleasure to have this phone with you. Ladies and gentlemen, a short break, and I'm going to be back with you.
بسم الله ما شاء الله.
Minister of Foreign Affairs, Migration and Expatriate Affairs, Badra Abdel Ati, have discussed the ongoing efforts in coordination with the Qatar to restore uphold the Gaza ceasefire during a phone call with Palestinian counterpart Mohammed Mustafa on Wednesday. The Foreign Ministry stated that this occurred during a phone call in which both ministers discussed the dire situation in the Gaza Strip and West Bank. During the call, Abdel Ati and Mustafa have reaffirmed their condemnation of Israel's continued aggression, violations of international law and international humanitarian law, and crimes against the Palestinian people there. For his part, Foreign Minister Mustafa have thanked Egypt for its relentless efforts to uphold the rights of Palestinian people and end the Israeli aggression on Gaza. He also expressed eagerness to jointly facilitate the conference Egypt will host in April to mobilize funding for implementing the Arab Islamic Plan for Gaza reconstruction. Furthermore, both sides agreed to continue coordination for this conference and support efforts to help Palestinians remain in their homeland. Well, a statement by the Ministry of Planning and International Cooperation have said Wednesday that Egypt's GDP growth rate have rebounded to 4.3% in the second quarter of the fiscal year 2024 and 2025. The details are following.
A statement by the Ministry of Planning and International Cooperation said that Egypt's GDP growth rate rebounded to 4.3% in the second quarter of the fiscal year 2024-2025, a significant increase from 2.3% during the same period a year earlier. The ministry attributed this improvement to the ongoing structural reforms to maintain macroeconomic stability and the stringent governance of public investments. These have strengthened resilience and facilitated a shift from a non-tradable economy to a tradable one amid global uncertainties. Egypt has engaged in an extended fund facility loan program with the International Monetary Fund, the IMF, to restore its key macroeconomic indices to the healthy levels. Key sectors contributing to this expansion include the non-oil manufacturing, tourism, communication and information technology (ICT). Despite these sectors' positive performance, the Suez Canal faced significant challenges, recording a contraction of 70% due to geopolitical tensions affecting navigation and reducing the number of vessels transitioning the canal, and this is according to the statement. Moreover, private investment exceeded public investment for the second consecutive quarter, reaching over 50% of total investments, while public investment declined to below 40%. This shift reflects a notable change in Egypt's investment landscape, with private investment increasing by 35.4% compared to the same quarter of the year 2023-2024. High-frequency indicators support the positive economic outlook. The Purchasing Managers Index is slightly above the neutral threshold and has reached its highest level in nearly 4 years, signaling a gradual rebound in private sector activity. The statement also emphasized the importance of contractionary fiscal and monetary policies in achieving this growth.
Well, Egypt's stock market indices collectively rose during the start of Thursday trading session. Analysts said that Arab and foreign investors and investment funds concentrated on profit making sales in different fields, reaching high rates and exceeding purchasing operations by local investors and investment funds. The main EGX 30 index added 0.21%. The small and medium EGX 70 index added 0.68%, and the more expanded EGX 100 index have gained 0.57%. Well, with this, my dear viewers, we come to the end of this episode of our program, Cairo Local Time. My name is Amal Mukhtar. Thank you for watching.